Here we go. Hey guys. So I wonder if any of you saw the solar eclipse today. If you did, I hope you were careful with your eyes. So yesterday, we were looking at part 3, the reading and use of English. We were talking about word formations. So that video now will be up, or it is up. I think it's already up on YouTube. Yeah, I put it up today, I'm pretty sure. So what did we see? Just to do a quick review before we look at the quiz. We were looking at how we can change words into different word families. Like, if you take one word, are you able to make it a noun, an adjective, an adverb, a verb, a negative prefix? Thanks, Gerda. Thank you so much. I couldn't remember. I thought I had it up and I wasn't sure. Did you see the eclipse? Plural noun or a different suffix. If you're doing your C1 exam, one of those 3 is probably where most people will make a mistake. Okay? So, an example. If you take the word active, accurate. See, that's awesome. Yeah, I did. I was a bit scared though because today a couple of students told me it could be really dangerous for your eyes. So I was a bit worried about that. Hello, Hota. I was a bit worried about that. Now, I did have the glasses, but I was a little bit paranoid. So I think I looked maybe 6 or 8 times and I did like a little release practice ritual as well. But I didn't look at it like non-stop, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I didn't stare at it. Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. I was a bit too nervous. And then when I came back to my house, I was like blinking. I was like, can I still see? You know, it was a bit funny, the colour, the light that was coming from it. It was a bit interesting. Yeah, it was funny. Okay, so accurate is the adjective. Negative adjective would be inaccurate. Hello, Bigu, Aussie, hey. Paranoia, yeah, a bit of paranoia, I hope. Inaccurate adverb is accurately. Negative adverb, inaccurately. Noun, accuracy. Negative noun, inaccuracy. So we were practicing these yesterday, okay? It's up on YouTube. The verb differ, you can make it an adjective, different, an adverb, differently. The noun is plural noun, differences, adjective, indifferent, and negative noun, indifference. Okay, so we were looking at all those. We looked at honest. We mentioned that before, if you're going to say, you'd say, for example, an honest person. Remember, because the H is silent, actually honest acts like it begins with a vowel. So that was, everybody was asking questions about that. We looked at possible, legal, like legality, illegality. We looked at create, no, creation is one that people tend to forget the noun. Creatively is also one that people forget the adverb. Employ, employable or unemployable are some adjectives that we saw. We did some questions for that. Look, this one was rational. So if you take rational or ration, the people find that for C1 this is difficult. You can have rational, irrational, rationally. Hello, Aniel. I'm Irish. I'm from Ireland. Irrationality. Where are you from, Aniel? Rationality, irrationality. Okay? So we were practicing those, and then we're going to do now, we didn't have time yesterday, so I'm going to do it now. It was the quiz. Okay, we're going to do it all together. So not this one. This was like yeah, we were here with journal. I knew that you were going to come up with the shot glasses. Okay, so journal, right? Let me get rid of the red here for you so you can see. So for example, students in media, cultural studies, and even, and we need to change the word journal. So how could we change the word journal here to fill this gap? What would you put in there? A lot of people said yesterday journalist, but it's not journalist. So journalist is a noun, it's the person. But what could you put in here instead of journal into this gap? Does anybody know? What's the name of the subject that you study at university? Nobody knows? Does anybody know? Yeah, good job, Guerrera. It's journalism. Journalism. Okay, I think maybe only 2 people got that correct yesterday. It's a tricky one. All right, what about with accurate? So you could say, there is no such thing as truth or in television products. So what would be the noun for accurate? Aniel, good, since I was about to go to Ireland as an English student, so now I will follow you. That's awesome, Aniel. Good job, Cloud. Accuracy is the answer. Well done. It is truth or accuracy. No such thing as truth or accuracy in television products. What part of Ireland are you going to, Aniel? I'm from Cork. Okay, so this is the official quiz from yesterday. If you didn't see the live yesterday, it's up on YouTube, okay? Confirmed, it's up on YouTube, so you can check it out. But you're welcome now to practice today because I'm just going to continue from where we left off yesterday, okay? So, in reading and use of English part 3, what are you expected to do with the word given? Cassia! I didn't put it in the group because I didn't want to upset people because it's so late. That's why I didn't put it in the group, but I'm really happy you're here. Okay. The longest one. Okay, so change it so that it fits the grammar and the meaning of the sentence. Use it exactly as it appears. Replace it with a synonym. Change the order of the words in the sentence. Yes, it's A. Mr. Foster, hey! How's it going? You found the secret live. Yeah. Guys, I'm sorry it's so late. Look, it is what it is. It is what it is. I can't make excuses. I wanted to do a live and today it was impossible. And then I wanted to see the eclipse. I considered doing the live when the eclipse was on, but I just felt like it wasn't a good idea. So yeah, the first one is A. Good job. Well done, Guerrera. Okay, so part 3 tests word formation. You must change the base word by adding prefixes, suffixes, or changing its form so that it fits the sentence. Okay? Anna Maria, I'm glad you watched the eclipse. Yeah, Anna Maria, I thought so. And I also thought it wasn't correct to do a live and obligate people to miss the live or miss the eclipse. So, yeah. Hey, Smith, you're very welcome. So I said, okay, it's too monumentous, the occasion, so yeah, gotta do it. Okay, so number 2, which word best completes the sentence? The committee described the proposal as completely, and we need to use ration. So rationality, rationally, irrationally, or irrational. In Romania, it was so visible. Yeah, we had a total 1 in 90. Yeah, that's awesome. It wasn't so visible in Romania. In Ireland either, it was too cloudy. Thank you, teacher Joelle. You too. Yeah, good job, Cassia. Completely irrational. Aniel, this is level B2C1. Okay? Good job, Cloud. Irrational. Hello, Anna. Exactly. Yeah. You could say unreasonable as a completely. The committee described the proposal as completely unreasonable, completely senseless. Could be. Would you say senseless? As in like it made no sense? Yeah, could be. So irrational from the answers that are there. So after as completely, you need an adjective, right? So the meaning is negative, so the correct answer is irrational. Illogical could be also. Yeah, completely illogical. Yeah, all adjectives. Number 3, which sentence requires a plural noun? It's down here for you guys. Which sentence requires a plural noun? So, A, there was a noticeable between the 2 reports. There were several between the 2 witness statements. C, the was immediately obvious. And D, we noticed little between the 2 versions. And you need to use the base word differ. Carrera, if you don't like my ideas, I have more. No, they're great. Let me see. Good job, Anna Maria. Yeah, it's differences. So which sentence do we need to put differences? So the answer is B, guys. Well done. Alina! Hello! Is this my Alina? Because you have a capital A at the end. I'm not sure if you are our normal Alina. Anna Maria, good job. Cloud, good job. Cassia, super. Well done. A, good job. Well done. Yeah, you got it. Discrepancies. There were several discrepancies between the two witness statements. Yes, you could say that too. Okay, so there were several differences. This is the one that I noticed that students like always forget the S. I mentioned all of this in the video yesterday anyway. Okay, if you're doing the Cambridge exam, you need to find the plural. So the determiner, several, requires a plural countable noun, so it's going to be differences. Okay? Okay. Number 4. Which word best completes the sentence? The report questioned the of the available evidence. Let's see. And we need to use rely. So it could be A, reliable, B, reliability, C, unreliability, or D, reliably. Irina, hello! Irina, I'm sorry we are late. But look, reliability or trustworthiness. You've come in guns blazing today, eh? Reliability, Cloud, good job. Good job, Moon or Black Ball. Vasil, good job. Well done, Arte Cosmeticos, good job. Geraldo, good job. Well done, Kiss Kiss. Dex, good job. Alejo, good job. Geraldo, well done. King, good job. Brilliant, guys, well done. Reliability. The report questioned the reliability of the available evidence. Super. Well done. Thank you, Ota. That's awesome. Okay. After the, you need a noun. The natural collocation is the reliability of the available evidence. Irina, teacher, don't be sorry. Everything is okay. Okay, thank you. Yeah, and at least the recording will be on YouTube for anybody who's sleeping. Okay, so number 5. Which word best completes the sentence? The witness described the incident, and here we need to use the base word honest, guys, okay? We don't say honest or honestly, okay? It's honest. So the witness describes the incident, honesty, honest, honestly, or dishonest. Let me see. Alejo, good job. Vasil, good job. Cassia, good job. Black Ball, good job. Josue, good job. Irina, awesome. Liland, Luna, good job. Mel, good job. You guys are awesome. Well done. It's an adverb, Irina. Yeah. Honestly, Anna Maria, good job. Dex, well done. The witness described the incident frankly. That doesn't sound too good to me, eh? Frankly? To be like, you wouldn't say, that'd be like saying the witness described the incident directly or frankly. I think it doesn't, you wouldn't say that, I don't think. Adi's, good job. And this person, I can't read your name, but I think it's not Chinese. I think it's not Japanese. What language is that? I'm not sure which language it is. Sincerely could be, yeah. Ningit Vik, good job, C, well done. Mel, awesome. Yeah, well done, Mr. Foster. Japanese, you're connecting from Japan. That's so cool. Oh, that's awesome. Which part of Japan? I really want to go to visit Japan. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the witness described the incident sincerely, honestly, in detail. Zoe, good job, well done. Yeah, so the verb described is modified by an adverb, so honestly is required. Okay. 6. Which word best completes the sentence? The company hopes to its presence in the Asian market. So we need to use strong. We have strongly, strength, strengthen, or strongest. Alejo, good job. Chloe, good job. Vastia, good job. Cassia, Anna Maria, good job. Madalena, hello. Irina, brilliant, well done. Black Ball, good job. Cloud, well done. Aniel, good job. No, Aniel, it's C. Mr. Foster, super. Mel, well done. It's a verb, exactly. It's a verb, yeah, Irina, well done. Company hopes to reinforce its presentation. Mark, you could say reinforce, yeah. It has a different meaning though, because reinforce means to like strengthen the presence that it already has, and then strengthen would be like to expand its presence. But yeah, it would fit there. Madalena, hi. Ivan, strengthen. Strengthen is the verb. It's C. Okay? Good job, guys. Well done. Enhance. Honestly, I wouldn't enhance its present. I'm not sure that we collocate enhance with presence. You can enhance your face, for example, if you get cosmetic surgery or Botox or put on makeup. No, you can enhance your features, enhance a photo, but I'm not sure you can enhance your presence. It's a verb, so strengthen. Good job, Melia. Well done. Brilliant. Okay, so after 2, we can check, Guerrera, but I'm not sure about cruelty-free makeup. Yeah? Hard to find, I think. Yeah. At least not tested on animals, right? Guerrera, are you vegetarian? Or vegan or something? Out of curiosity. After 2, you need the base form of a verb. Strengthen means to make stronger. Mr. Foster, I have another idea for a debate. Vegetarian and... You told me once you are... But are you vegan? Or only vegetarian or pescatarian? My yoga teacher, for example, is pescatarian. Vegetarian. And do you eat fish? Because my yoga teacher describes himself as vegetarian, but he eats fish. Vegetarian with carnivores. Mr. Foster, add this to the debate list. Thanks, awesome. Of course not. No, you don't. Okay, still, yeah. But you eat eggs and milk and cheese and this, right? So you eat dairy products. Okay, question 7. Which word best completes the sentence? The information provided in the article was completely accuracy, inaccurate, accurately, or inaccuracy. Yeah, Guerrera, but there are people who say they're vegetarian, but they still eat fish. They still, so like, yeah. And then there are some people who say they're vegetarian when really they're vegan. So I don't take dairy products either, but I do take honey and eggs. Okay. Alejo, brilliant. You was a good job. Well done. Hello. Cassie, good job. Anna, good job. Madalena, awesome. Well done, Cloud. Thanks, Mr. Foster. I appreciate it. That's a big debate. That people are kind of flexible with it, And then they're using leather as well. Wool. People have different opinions. Some people won't use leather, but they will use wool. So, and even for shoes. Juan Carlos, good job. Irina, good job. Elit, you're awesome. Zoe, well done. Inexact. The information provided in the article was... You see, you wouldn't say completely inexact, because completely needs to be for a stronger adjective than inexact. Carlos Chavez, it's not A, it's B, Carlos. Hello, White Diamond. Hey, what's up? Did you have a nice day? Did you see the eclipse? My mom couldn't see the eclipse in Ireland. You can't see anything. Vague, imprecise. The information provided in the article is completely... No, you couldn't, because you see, vague and imprecise are not totally wrong. And if you say completely, they don't match together. Do you know what I mean? So, after was completely, you need an adjective, and you need an extreme adjective. So vague and imprecise are not extreme adjectives. And after completely, you need an extreme adjective. You got it? Awesome. Okay. 8. So, what is the most important question to ask yourself before changing the base word? A. How many letters should I add? B. What part of speech do I need? C. Is the word British or American? Or D. Can I think of a synonym? Hello, John B. Mr. Foster, by the way, I find vegetarian debates has the highest potential of debating itself. Guerrera is vegan. She's not vegan. She eats eggs and honey. She's vegetarian. But you would like to do this with Greta? I think I can't allow that. I think you would kill each other. No, I don't think so. But it will be a good one, alright? If we can stay calm. You're welcome. Hello, Orank. I beg your pardon if I couldn't speak English well like you, because I'm still learning till now. That's okay. We're all still learning. I'm still learning Spanish and Portuguese. So, yeah. Juan Carlos, good job. It was B. Exactly. White diamond. You didn't see it? Okay, but you had a nice day. Awesome. Madalena, well done. I entered very late. No, you didn't, Carlos. We're just starting off, honestly. Poneko, good job. Cassia, brilliant. Good woman. Irina, good job. Well done. No, will not. I'll be her humble servant. Are you drunk, Mr. Foster? It's not like you to make spelling mistakes like that. Hey? I feel like you've been drinking. Hubble instead of humble. And we'll? No, we'll not. No, we'll not. No, we won't. Not. Okay. Ariek, can you give me some tips for listening? It's very difficult for me. Watch a series. A really long series. The same series. Orank, where are you from? By the way, I'm Irish. I'm from Ireland. Good job, White Diamond. Is the sentence 8? Is the sentence missing something? What is the most important question to ask yourself before changing the base word? I don't think so. Vikki? Wait, what? I don't know what that Vicky's referring to. I'm late with the comments, am I? No, I'm not. Just typing really fast. Okay, all the Vicky's for that. Okay, I'm kidding. Margaret Venezuela, hello. Is B, good job. Ooh, Echele Mojo, good job. Ooch, okay. Mojo Picon. Do you like Mojo Picon? Are you from Gran Canaria or what? Vegetarians eat animals, but they can take products from animals and vegans none of. Okay. So you are Irish. Yes, I'm Irish. That. Hi. Hello, Emery. No entiendo. Yvette Tapia says she doesn't understand. Yes, this is an advanced level. So, okay. The answer is B. So the first step is always to identify whether you need a noun, adjective, adverb, or verb. Once you've done that, you can decide whether you need a prefix, suffix, or plural form. Okay? Now, Orank. So Irish coffee is made in your country? Yes. When I worked as a waitress in university, I made a lot of Irish coffees. Yes. Okay. Guys, I have an addition thing here for you. It's about spelling. I know spelling is boring. Anna Maria, yeah, Irish coffee is too good, isn't it? It's too good. So, a note on spelling. If it's spelt wrong here, it's 100% wrong. Okay, so if you do your exam and you make a spelling mistake, you get no point. Okay, so be careful if you're doing your exam. Write clearly and or check for typos if you're doing it on the computer. Orank, you're from Indonesia, yeah? I want to go to Indonesia. It's on my bucket list. Next note. A note on British and American spelling for Cambridge exams. Guys, if you're doing an English exam, just please be aware that in America, they spell differently to how we spell in British English. Okay? Yeah, Guerrera, but it's good to make people aware, I think. I think it's an important thing people should be aware of. Cambridge accepts both British and American spelling throughout its exams. However, you must be consistent. So if you spell one word with British spelling, you need to spell all of the words with British spelling. Okay? You can't put one word in British English with British spelling and then the next word in American English with American spelling. No. It needs to be either all British spelling or all American spelling. If not, they're going to take away points. Okay? I think Mr. Foster would like to know about this, I think. No? Makes sense? Anna Maria, you got it? Okay, cool. Aniel, Irish closely to Brit or American accent? Oh, sensitive topic, Aniel. Honestly, Aniel, our accent, we speak... Oh, it's very difficult to say. Technically, we speak more British English than American English. Okay, Aniel? Yeah, so do not mix the two systems in the same piece of writing or you're going to lose marks. Okay? That's the thing. So, for example, if you write organization with S, you should also write realize with S and traveling with two L's, okay? Not organization with Z, realize with Z, and traveling with one L, okay? And Maria, so you speak with color, not color. Yes, exactly. Well, the pronunciation is the same because, you know, the reason is in British English was the first English, okay? And the pronunciation is color, color, never color, never. But it's a long story. The spelling doesn't match the pronunciation. So in America, when English went to America, America simplified the actual spelling to make it sound like, to make it write it like it is spoken. But in Britain, they don't want to do this. They want to stay with the traditional spelling, even though we don't pronounce it like it's written. Okay? So it is pronounced like the American way. It's pronounced color. Some people in London might say colour, but normal people don't say that. They say normal people say color, the R. Josina, good evening. My name is Josina. You're from Mozambique. That's awesome. That's another place I would like to go. You got it, Irina? Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough is very Irish of you. Orank. I love British accent and Aussie accent. Yeah, I also like the Aussie accent a lot. Anna Maria. Yeah, I mean the writing. Yeah, the writing must be consistent. If you do a writing, it must be consistent. Cola. Guerrera, what? Cola. I had a Coca-Cola today. I shouldn't have had Coca-Cola. But I had. No sugar, no caffeine, but it still made me very energetic. Anna Maria, in Romania, they taught us the British way. Yeah, Anna Maria, normally in Europe, people generally teach British English. In fact, when American teachers come to Europe, they normally don't because it's difficult to get a visa. But when American teachers come to Europe, they have some difficulty with grammar and with spelling because it's different. But generally in Europe, we teach British English. Irina, it would be considered like a misspelling. I don't know if it wouldn't be considered misspelling, but they will take away marks. They will deduct marks just because you're mixing two spelling forms. Manny, British is the standard. I mean, that's another debate we can have. You know, some people specifically look for, if you're working in America with Americans, then you're going to want to learn the American accent, right? I think that the American way is easier. You know, for example, they say 2:30 instead of saying 2:30. So I recommend if you're learning the time, learn the British way, which is more difficult. And then it's easy to do the American one after. But if you learn the American one, like 2:30, then it could be difficult for you to say 2:30 if you need to. And that's not good, is it? Orank. I learn it by myself in front of the mirror every day like a madman. Orank, that's a really good idea. Josina, I hope you're okay. I'm very happy to join in this team. I hope one day to speak very much English. That's awesome, Josina. Cool. I hope too. Hello, Geraldine. Anna Maria, oh yeah, I don't use 2:30 anymore. I was so confused in school. Yeah, the time is a thing, you see. And, you know, numbers, yeah, stuff like that. So, I don't know. Depends on your goals, right? If you normally study British English, it is the safest to use British spelling throughout the exam. Like, that's what I would recommend. Most of my students use British spelling anyway. Okay? Manny, I mean, we have studied the standard English. That is the British one. Yeah, I mean, yeah. It came from there, didn't it? More or less, you know. So, most common differences. British English, we have colour, you have the U, you have favour, honour, labour, and neighbour. Okay? Irina and the mirror finally answered us. It's fun to speak to somebody who answers back, isn't it? In a different language. Whereas American, look, you can take a screenshot of this, guys, if you want. American would be color, favor, honor, labor, neighbor. So the pronunciation is the same. This is exactly the same, okay? This one, everybody's always confused. Like people try to say like centre. No. Please do not say centre or teatre or metre, litre. No. Look, it's a long story. I can tell you some other time why this spelling is so crazy, okay? But actually, we pronounce it like this. That's why in America they changed it. The Americans changed it to make it written like it sounds. They simplified it, okay? So it should be center, theater, meter, liter. So this is the same. Center, theater, meter, liter. It's good. Nobody say centre, please. Okay, so be careful. Meter in British English usually refers to a measuring device. For example, a gas meter, while meter is the unit of length. This is a little trick thing there. Okay, let me see. Anna Maria, thank you for mentioning those differences. It's very important. Yeah, Anna Maria, it is. I know it seems like a simple thing, and I know you guys are so advanced, but I work with advanced students every day, and they still have doubts about this, so I wanted to mention it, you know. I think it's something that's worth refreshing and mentioning regularly. Italian Centre. UK doesn't use meter. I beg to differ. But Americans, Sandra, hello. But Americans says censor instead of center. Center. I'm going to the center. Oh, maybe in some parts of America. I'm going to the center. Maybe they don't say the R at the end. But I think that's only some accents, eh, Sandra? I think only some accents. I think because America's a big country. They have quite a range, don't they, of accents. Anna Maria, I sometimes have doubts too. Yeah, it's good to review this stuff. Orang includes our vocabulary and pronunciation because grammar will be going to attending, isn't it? What do you mean, Orang? I'm not sure what the question is. It's another unit of length, like inches. Yeah, it is. Center is down. Yes, it is, Danielle. Yeah, downtown. All right, Sandra. Cool. Let me see. I think that's why. I think that's the But honestly, I'm like a New York accent. I would probably recognize maybe Texas, but like America's so big, they have really different pronunciations. Okay. Big one then is ISE or IZE. So if you ever see this when you're reading, say, why is it a Z and not an S? It's probably just American or English. Now, when I am correcting writing, before ChatGPT, when one of my students, I could see Z in their homework, I knew immediately that they had used Google Translate. Because we never use Z like this in Europe. So if my students suddenly start writing with Z, I know that they are copying from Google Translate, which is an American translator. And I would say, Jacinto, why did you use Google Translate to do your writing? And he would say, how do you know? I said, because you fill it up with Z. It's all realize with Z. Summarize with Z, and normally you use S, so I know that you didn't write this. And they were freaked out that I knew that they had copied from ChatGPT or from Google Translate, because it's very obvious, you know, you can see immediately this is full of American spelling, so obviously you did not write this yourself, because if you're European, you're going to write favorite with you, but if you copy from Google Translate, I'm going to see the American spelling. You know? Hello to Azerbaijan. Mustafayeva. Hello. Yeah, this is funny, Anna Maria. Anna, I didn't... Jacinto is a beautiful flower. Yeah? I always use the example of Jacinto. Jacinto is my example for everyone because very few people call Jacinto, so there's no danger I'm going to offend anyone. Orang. I mean, I learned vocab and pronunciation every day. Yeah, that's awesome. Good job. Okay, so this confuses many learners. In British English, both I's and I's are accepted by many publishers. Yeah, so organize, recognize, realize, same pronunciation. However, Cambridge University Press generally prefers I's, whereas many British schools and newspapers prefer I's. The important thing is to be consistent. So this is the point. You need to pick one and try to be consistent. Okay? Anna Maria, I think this with I's and I's is the most confusing. Yeah, it is a bit confusing, honestly. Okay, then this is very important. Double consonants. So British English often doubles the final consonant before adding ing or ed. So for example, traveling, we have two L's, no? Traveling, traveled, traveler, counseling also. Whereas in American, one L with traveling, one L with traveled, one L with traveler, and one L with counseling. Pronunciation is the same, apart from some differences in accent maybe. But you can see very clearly immediately if this person used Google Translate or if they're American or European or what. So me, for example, in Europe, we always spell like this with these words, you know. Okay, the next one is CE versus SE. So this difference is not British versus American English. It exists in both. So for example, advice or advise. It's the difference between the noun and the verb. So this one is advice, which is a noun, and to advise is the verb. License and license, to license is the verb. Okay, that's a really good one. So British English, to license someone. British English, license is a noun and license is the verb. American English, license is both the noun and the verb. Okay. Similarly, practice is a noun. Anna, to advise or to advice? No, I always confuse them. You have to say two pieces of advice because advice is uncountable. If you want to make it countable, you need to use a quantifier, such as a piece of advice. Okay? Or some advice. Good job, Juan Carlos. Exactly. Yes. Okay? A bit of advice. Good advice. Yeah? But not one advice, two advice. All right, Anna. If you want to say two, you have to say two pieces of advice. I have two pieces of advice for you. Practice is a noun with C, and in British English with S is the verb. But in American English, practice with C is both the noun and the verb. Okay, you're so welcome, Anna. Great question. Then we have some miscellaneous differences, right? Some miscellaneous differences. So British English we have check, and in American English it's check. Program, TV program with two M's, and in American it's with one M and no E. Jewelry with two L's, in American one L. Grey is written with an E in British English, and it's written with an A in American English. Mold is written with a U in British English, with no U in American English. Airplane is written A-E-R-O, aeroplane, and in American, airplane. Pajamas, okay, with Y, P-Y-J, and P-A-J in American. Defense with C in British, with S in American. Offense with C in British, with S in American. Aluminium with an extra I with British, and missing the I here. Aluminium. So they're missing the I at the end. This guy. Okay, there's some miscellaneous ones. All right, let me see here. Mar, teacher, where are you from? Where's your accent from? I'm Irish. And I'm from Ireland. Let me see. Wow, so many differences, and I used from both British and American. Yeah, Anna Maria, that's the thing. We use them both. Okay. Yeah. So, spelling tips, right? For reading use of English, part 3. Part 3 test word formation. So, accurate spelling is essential. If it's not spelled correctly, you lose the point. Cambridge awards no half marks. If you form the correct word but spell it incorrectly, you lose the mark. Okay? So, no alcohol. You don't have a strong accent, do you? Alessia. I'm a teacher, Alessia. So I've been teaching for many years. So when I'm teaching, I have a more neutral accent. So always check. Have I added the correct prefix? So possible, impossible, regular, irregular. Have I chosen the correct suffix? For example, create, creativity, employ, employment, accurate, accuracy. Have I doubled the consonant where necessary? For example, permit, permitted, occur, occurrence, refer, referring. Have I changed Y to I where required? For example, happy, happiness, possible, possibility, rely, reliable. Have I remembered words that drop the final E? Create, creation, admire, admirable, admirable, use, useful. And finally, remember that in part 3, you are not only being tested on grammar and vocabulary, you are also being tested on spelling. A single missing letter is enough to lose the mark. So always leave a minute at the end to check the word carefully. Okay, there's some tips there. Everybody asks always for tips for part 3. So there you go. There are some tips. Okay. Now. Okay, so the last day to finish up this part, you're welcome, Anna Maria. To finish up this part, right, we had a story about Fionn McCool, right? I read the story yesterday about Fionn McCool and the Salmon of Knowledge. And I'm just going to finish off part 2. So we learned about the Salmon of Knowledge and this famous man in Irish mythology, Fionn McCool. And I'm just going to finish it now. Okay. Perhaps the most famous story involving Fionn McCool came many years later. So this is another story after this part about the salmon. Okay, if you didn't see the part of the story about the salmon, you can check the video on YouTube from yesterday. So, Fionn McCool is in Ireland, okay, and he is the leader of the Fianna. The Fianna are the elite warriors who protected Ireland from invaders, wild animals, and dangerous kings. So because the leader of this group, right? Now, across the sea lived a gigantic Scottish giant named Benandonner, who challenged Fionn to a duel, right? So this guy is over in Scotland, he was a giant, and he decided that he wanted to fight Fionn McCool in Ireland, okay? Refusing to back down, so Fionn didn't want to say no, so he refused to back down. Fionn built an enormous stone bridge across the sea. So this is between the north of Ireland and Scotland. He built a stone bridge across the sea so the two giants could meet. Today, legend says that bridge is the Giant's Causeway in County Antrim. Have you seen this, guys? Has anybody seen the Giant's Causeway? I'm going to show you a picture. The Giant's Causeway. You can still see parts of the causeway. It's this place. This is part of the bridge that they say was built by the giant between Ireland and Scotland. Okay? Yes, look. This is part of the bridge that was left. Has anybody visited the Giant's Causeway? I visited with my mom a few years ago. It's really, really cool. I recommend it. Hello! I can't read your name, but yes, I do have group conversation classes. Yes, I do. Anna Marie, that's nice. I didn't know that. Yeah, you didn't know? But yeah, it's really cool place to visit, eh? It's still there where he built this bridge. So, what happened, right? However, when Fionn finally caught sight of Benandonner, so he saw Benandonner, so he built the bridge, and then he saw Benandonner coming. He said, he realized the Scottish giant was far bigger than he imagined. So he realized that the giant was genuinely huge. Okay? Now, fortunately, Fionn's wife, now her name was Sive. This is an Irish name, Sive. Okay? Was even cleverer than he was. So she was really smart. So what do you think she did? What did she do? She disguised Fionn as a baby and tucked him into an enormous cradle. When Benandonner arrived and saw the gigantic baby, he froze in terror. If that's the size of the child, he thought, how enormous must the father be? Without waiting to find out, Benandonner turned around and fled back to Scotland in panic, tearing up the stone bridge behind him so that Fionn could never follow. And that's the story. Whether these stories are true or not, they have been passed from one generation of Irish people to the next over 1,000 years. Even today, Fionn McCool remains one of Ireland's greatest legendary heroes, not because he was the strongest man in Ireland, but because he understood that intelligence, courage, and quick thinking are often more powerful than brute force. So, what do you think, guys? What do you think of the story of the legend of Fionn McCool? I really liked it, so I really wanted to tell. Zella, will we be given the option for the type of writing we will have in the test before taking it? Zella, it depends which writing you do. You're welcome. You can send me. I can't read your name. It's about the classes. You can send me a DM and I can send you the information if you want to join one of the conversation classes. Clara Songs Official. Hi. Can one follow you for IELTS preparation? Yeah, of course you can. You can follow. No prob. He had a formidable intelligence. Yes, he did, Anna. Exactly. Oh, I'm glad, Anna, you like the story. Anna Maria is cool. His name is sounding. It brings me to the fairy tale right away. Yeah, the Irish names are pretty cool, aren't they? Hello, Aldana. Fionn McCool, yeah. This, Irish is a beautiful language. Okay, so I have another topic. However, I'm going to pause this YouTube video because I want the videos on YouTube to be easy to find. And sometimes our classes are so long that we mix topics. So I'm going to pause this video and I'm going to start the next one.